Hi, and a very warm welcome to Stories with Saachi. Today we have a very special guest with us. We have Mr. Vivek Atray, who's a former IAS officer. He is a TEDx and Josh Talk speaker. He's a very acclaimed author, podcaster, and mentor. I don't think the list ends. And he's authored many books, and he has a new one coming out very soon. He's also the recipient of the Chandigarh Sahitya Academy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Lucky break.
And we are here in Chandigarh, which is our hometown. We're going to have a fun chat.
Sure.
So you're a true polymath, being an administrator, an author, a mentor, a podcaster. You have so many different interests, and yet you managed to maintain excellence in all of them. How did that happen?
I wouldn't say excellence, but I think I do try to maintain a high level of participation. And sometimes you get lucky breaks like awards, as you said. Recognition doesn't come very easily in society. It comes by, and sometimes you do harder work in something else where you're not recognized. I remember, to start on a lighter note, actually, you mentioned polymath and everything. So there was a boss of mine who gave me an outstanding report one year that he's an outstanding officer. But the reason she gave me that outstanding was not the reason which I wanted. She gave it for some project which was like, for me, it was a side issue, but it was her favorite project. My favorite project was the IT park and the technology park and things. She didn't mention that at all, but I got an outstanding report. So the result mattered. So sometimes you get recognized for things which you didn't expect, and you don't get recognized for things that you dearly wanted to be recognized for. But it's all in the game.
All right. And, these days, parents generally tend youngsters to focus on one area early on in life. I'm talking more from an academic and a career point of view. Again, given your experience and your journey, it's been quite the opposite. So do you recommend people find one area of interest or expertise, or how do they go about it?
I like the trend already because I have a theory on this, and I've borrowed it from somewhere. There's a theory of the foxes and the hedgehogs.
Okay.
So the hedgehog will go deep into one direction and dig a hole, like a mole. And
so you're talking about that story.
I'm talking about that story. But the fox is going around, scampering around the whole landscape, and he knows everything there is to know about the whole countryside. And the mole knows only one thing, but in one deep direction. So a specialist is a mole in that direction, or a hedgehog. And a fox is a leader. You have to be a bit of both. So in the case of the youngsters today, I think they need to choose something, but they can be unsure for a while, and they can even change their course. I mean, all of us, I think, are changing our courses of our careers in many ways. I was in cricket, then I was in service, and now I'm in speaking and writing and whatever. You can never be sure. So I think we have to be multidimensional in terms of talent, in terms of awareness, in terms of skill. Maybe 2 or 3 things you can be good at, not one only. Like if you're a numbers person, I know you and I are not, but if you're a CA and you also play the guitar, that adds that dimension to life which you need dearly. Otherwise, being a numbers person can be dreary, according to me. And if you have that multi-dimension, then you're better off in life. Even in your main course of work, you will do better because you have those other dimensions to come back to the main work. And lastly on this, if you are finding it difficult to choose a career and you are trying to get a specialization in something, it's okay to fail or not be sure for a while, especially for the youth. Life will sort a lot of things out on its own. So go for one, but then also create awareness in other directions as far as you can.
So basically, just be patient and grow, and of course, life teaches.
Hone your creative skills also. Whatever creativity you have within you. Like I can't dance for nuts. I can't cook for nuts. I can write a bit. I can speak a bit. I know a few languages, like Francais, I was saying French.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. So, and then one is a little like presence of mind is there. But I may not be good at certain things like numbers again. I'm a maths person, but I'm not good at accounts. So you recognize your limitations and explore the rest of your repertoire.
And since, again, you've had your hands in different,
buckets.
Yes. So what do you think is the one skill or value that anyone may need to succeed?
I think the one skill, it's a very difficult one, but the one skill you need is balance. Balance. So
That's interesting. I've never heard
very
of
important
anybody say
skill you
that.
need balance. So communication, of course, I would have said, which is a skill at a very practical level. But the skill of balancing your life, the time management part, the prioritization, the part about knowing when to stop in one direction, and then you pick up something else which is more important in that sense. So the 80-20 rule I follow, and it's Pareto's principle, which is basically you prioritize those 20% things which will give you 80% of the output. And you leave those 80% things which will give you only 20% of the result till later. They are not that top priority. Another interpretation of the 80-20 rule is you prioritize 80% your work and your career. But that 20% is your time, your self-development, your family. That 20 to 30% is vital to the context. So I think you can manage it that if you have that balance in mind.
That's actually an excellent answer. Even I've never
you.
thought of it.
You'll get excellent answers. I'm being very non-humble.
All right, brilliant. So now just going to touch upon your interest and passion for cricket.
Very good.
That's something I missed in your introduction.
No,
so you're
no
a
issues.
passionate cricketer.
It used to be.
And you also played in the under-19.
I played under 19. So like Aman, your brother, who came on my show with you.
Yeah.
And this is a great returning the favor type of
you
episode.
can say that. No, it's not.
So Aman and I have been playing cricket earlier, and under 19 came to me because I was a very serious cricketer in school days. I used to get coaching with Mr. Azad, who was Kapil Dev's coach. And Kapil Dev was about 12 to 15 years our senior. I hope I'm not getting the numbers wrong anyway. So then Mr. Azad would be a very strict coach. So I had no choice but to become a good cricketer, because he would see that everybody is like bad playing straight and technique and stuff. So if you're regular, you will become a good cricketer. I had some skill and talent as well. But then I realized after the under 19, my dad said that you better do engineering, because cricket will not get you a career unless you're playing for India. At that time, I was 18. So at 18, you should know whether you're playing for India. Nowadays, 14-year-olds are Suryavanshi and all. 15 now. But the point is that I became a little depressed at that point because I wanted cricket in my life. And I realized that it's not going to be my life. So it was heartbreaking at 18. But then I went to engineering.
Why did you think it's not going to be your life? Because of the whole India?
Because he said that you have to take a call now and go for engineering in Kurukshetra, where I had to go, NIT. And then the coaching part would be in Chandigarh, so I can't get that coaching, and then I can't remain that level which I am required to play for India. Although Kumble, Srinath, Dravid, I think Dravid also, all these guys are engineers who played for India. But for me at that time, it was like either engineering or cricket. And when I went to the college, it reduced. I played inter-engineering college and all. I remember hitting a match-winning six also for the engineering college. But then that didn't really work. So then I had this phase where I was feeling low. But then cricket remained with me. And my dad's tournament started once he passed away. And
since the last 3 decades, you've been
30 years. My uncle Kapoor Saab, Sushil Kapoor ji, hats off to him, tributes to him, and he's still going strong at 84. And I was 24 when we started, so he was the one. And 30 years later, we're proud of it, yeah.
And many of the cricketing legends now, or the ones who may have even, past their peak, have been associated.
Yeah. No, even the current players like Rishabh Pant, the Pandya brothers, they've played our tournament. So the last few who played for India as well as our tournament were these. But before that, 130 Indian cricketers, Kapil Dev included. When he was about to retire, I think he played in 93, the second edition of our tournament he played, yeah.
So you've seen them literally,
grow
in their careers.
Dhoni, Nehra, Yuvraj, Harbhajan, they all played our tournament. Rohit Sharma, Ganguly. So our tournament is pretty big. So my cricket, instead of my cricket, the tournament became bigger than me. And I met Mr. VVS Lakshman in Bangalore recently.
I saw a photograph.
Yeah, and I was happy to do my bit for BCCI, whatever I can. But he was very appreciative of the tournament. And even Mr. Gavaskar, I met him once. And he knew our tournament. So I think So I don't need to add anything else.
But you've seen some of these, great players really grow in their career. Is there something that you noticed, or is there some
Yeah, no, this is a very important point.
attribute?
I think the attribute, apart from the balance I was talking about, because there again they have to balance their life with the rest of their life. Secondly, I think that determination and that perseverance, and then never say die. So you get these setbacks. We've all had setbacks in life, and those setbacks will push you down. My second book is called Dubeji Bounces Back. So you bounce back. They push you down and you bounce back. That's how life should be. So the ability to bounce back despite the adversity, and people may even laugh.
Resilience, right?
Yeah, resilience. They may mock you also. Relatives. I think the girls of India who are playing for India in whatever field find it even more difficult. I mean, as a lady, you would understand and appreciate that wrestling, boxing, where they have to go and train with the boys, or they're going around in shorts in the villages, and the villagers are like, now I think things have changed, but 10, 15, 20 years ago also, it was very tough. So to play any sport for the country is a great achievement for any Indian youngster. Yeah.
And now, since you've spoken about women or young girls, you are also a father to two young women.
Yeah, one of them is coming shortly.
Yes. So just for anyone who may be watching and may have a young daughter, daughters, what kind of advice would you like to give them in our, changing country, the scenario and everything? What would you say?
I think the sky is the limit now. I think India has been unbound in many ways, as Gurcharan Das wrote many years ago. And now the women of India have been unbounded from from those fetters. And, they've become more acceptable to the men in the society in working positions. I'm using my words very carefully. So you see these young girls walking around who work for, let's say, urban company. I don't know whether we should name a private company, or someone who's a hairdresser, confidently pacing the road in a uniform, a server at a restaurant, lady manager of some place. So these are ladies who earlier you wouldn't see on the roads or in public. The men would be doing all these jobs.
You do see some women at petrol stations also, at least in Delhi.
Petrol stations here, toll plazas, and they're meeting all these grumpy men who don't want to pay the toll at times. And so it takes its toll anyway. Yeah. So they all these women who are out there, and then achievers like army officers, pilots, people like you who are working for corporates. I mean, they're outstanding. And then you've also authored that book, and then 2 books now, Saachi.
One so far. The second one we will discuss in your podcast.
All right. So the point is that you are role models for the girls who are coming up now. So they see someone like you. They see a young officer who's a lady colleague of mine. I used to be DC Panchkula, and they were out 3 or 4 young colleagues of mine. And whenever we used to go to villages, they used to be there. I used to tell the villagers that make your children study, because if you want them to be like them, the girls, then you have to, because many girls drop out after 10th because the parents don't want to send them to the nearby village or town rather for class 11. Till 10th the school is here, and then they have to go by bus to class 11, so they drop out. So all these things are important for the women, that we appreciate them, we recognize their talent, we support them, and that patriarchal kind of mindset also reduces.
Hopefully in due course.
Families like yours, mine, I mean, we are lucky and fortunate to have the best parents and brothers, sisters, ecosystems where we are encouraged and the ladies are encouraged.
Yeah, not everyone has that.
Not everyone has that, exactly.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Now, just to shift a little bit, let's talk about Chandigarh.
Oh, yeah.
Which is our hometown.
City, lovely city.
And that's where we are right now.
Yeah, the city beautiful.
A city beautiful. You also played a very important role when you were in the public
tourism
service.
And IT, yeah.
Yes, as an IT and tourism director for Chandigarh.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time, IT park was just about coming up, or you're the person behind that. So just tell us.
You didn't know at that time.
Now I was too small.
No, I don't know whether you were small as well, but I was not that. But one thing I was telling. Satinder Sartaaj came for our novel bunch event. And I met him on the sidelines, and I'm very humbly telling you this. So I'm not being pompous at all here. He tells me, he says, "Aapka to maine naam suna hua hai?" I said, "How?" He says, "When IT Park ban raha tha, PU mein we used to be studying, and your name used to be in the papers." I said, you remember the name. The point is you remember the name. He said, yeah, I remember the name. And I had pictures and all with him. And he's a superstar. So that time, I was promoting a city which is easy to promote. You try and promote Delhi. I mean, with all apologies to Delhi walas, I'm also born in Delhi. And Gurgaon, try and promote Gurgaon. Delhi and Gurgaon developed on their own because of the location, because of the capital, because of whatever reason, logistics. Chandigarh was easy to promote as tourism and IT destination. However, the impression was that it's a Sarkari city, bureaucratic. And
full of old people.
Full of old people. And Infosys and all were not in North India. North India, the perception was not a business-friendly place. Punjab, Himachal, Haryana, Chandigarh were not really attracting business investment. So I think we were successful in changing that norm. And I had great officers senior to me. And General Jacob and General Rodriguez were the governors. Fantastic people to work with, army officers. And I was 31, 32. So I started off, did well.
Yeah, indeed. And now where Chandigarh is in terms of its importance and general, public perception for people who do not live here. Is there something you would like to suggest or think that we could do better? Because, see, while I'm from here as well, but now I do live in Gurgaon. If somebody asks me, okay, we want to go to Chandigarh, we want to go to 17, Rose Garden, Rock Garden, that's all they tell me. I'm like, there is so much more to that city. But
I think the gardens of Chandigarh are unknown to the outside world. You go to any of them and they are so gorgeous. I mean, most of the time nowadays they're full of yellow flowers, the amaltas in the heat. And then Chandigarh's trees have been designed in a particular way that all year round you'll have blooming flowers somewhere or the other. And there's a scientific way in which they've been planted in those days by the planners. So the greens of Chandigarh are the main USP of Chandigarh, you know that. And then the rock garden, the lake are, we think that, we think of them as usual things. But if you go to the lake for a walk, every day also, just the other day, the day before I was there in the evening, and it's spectacular. You see the skyline at the back and you see the mountains at the back and then the feel of the lake. And you take pictures there. I take some pictures there and there are many who do. They think they're photographers too. So we love the city. And Chandigarh also has this quality of life, as you know, which is fantastic. Now it also has jobs. We were the ones trying to get jobs into Chandigarh and people had to take otherwise a decision either to stay in Chandigarh for the quality of life or to further their career elsewhere.
I was one of those.
You were one of them who went out. Yeah. So we have to rev Chandigarh up a bit more in the job scene. But it's better than before. There are 34 takeoffs now from flights. We used to have 2.
And the airport is really nice. And I think lots of people come here for further connectivity to the Himalayas.
Absolutely. But Chandigarh itself has picked up a lot in business and economy terms and jobs. And many CEOs have, after COVID, they've settled there and working from home because their parents are here and they may be global CEOs, they're working here. Many of them. And businesses are also picking up. So it's a work in progress. But I think Chandigarh has done well. Traffic can be controlled better.
Yeah.
We can clean up the city a bit better. But then it's an endless conversation.
Yeah, but I think otherwise it's a
great
place to...
7 out of 10 marks.
That's a good report card. A city like Chandigarh. So now let's talk about your life as an author. You've authored so many books.
6 books.
Which is your favorite?
My favorite is my first because of Move On Bunny, which was my...
Tell me about that. Tell us about the name. Yeah.
Move On Bunny Kapoor, actually. Bunny Kapoor was the man who was restless. He would keep on shifting cities, jobs, girlfriends, relationships. He would be like never settled. And when I wrote that, it was a rom-com. It was a funny book. I used to write humor. And the 6 episodical stories in that conjured up the book. And it was pretty successful. But I couldn't write, I realized, a full-length story. So I wrote 6 short stories in that, which made the book. Later, I wrote Dubeji Bounces Back, which was one novel, one story, and one guy who used to bounce back, as I said, from adversity.
But was that out of imagination?
No, most of it is imagination. So people used to ask me, are you Bunny Kapoor? Are you Raghav Dubey? I said, I'm not that. I wish I was at times, but I wish I wasn't at times. So you assimilate your experiences. And you, like, for example, if I write about this episode that we're doing, I write about it. and I change the name, I change the format, I bring in two other people into it. Then there's something else happening. So you fiction, you use real life experiences, but you fictionalize them. So I did that, and it was good fun. And then Finding Success Within was my main book, is my main book till today.
And I think you talk about it a lot whenever you're going and speaking
because my
to
motivational
students.
Speaking goes with that.
Yeah.
And then came these 3 collections, The Middle of Everything, It's Still a Wonderful Life, and now Not So Randomly Yours.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank
the
you,
book is launching very soon.
Yeah, we're going to have a picture at the end.
Tell us something about the new book.
So it's a collection of 120 random forays.
Which is your
my column. And random forays is basically, the name came about as random musings, which you were mentioning.
Yes.
And it came up to forays later. So it is random topics, but not so random analysis within the topic. So now, Not So Randomly Yours is the book. It has humor, it has governance, it has Chandigarh, it has relationships, it has travel, it has... I'm not selling the book, I'm just describing the book.
No, please tell us one favorite anecdote or chapter.
There is a chapter known as If a Cafe Could Perceive Us.
A cafe, okay.
Yeah, so you go to a cafe and you perceive the cafe. You like the cafe, you go there again. You like the coffee, you like the servers, you like the ambience. Now, if the cafe could perceive us, the cafe likes us or doesn't like us. So the cafe, and as a being, likes certain customers and doesn't like other vibes. So the vibes that we carry. So I've talked about that. So Not So Randomly Yours came about because the topics are randomly selected, but the treatment is not random. So I go deep into it. And you were asking me about one particular topic.
Anecdote, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a topic called If a Cafe Could Perceive Us. So in that, I write about how a cafe perceives the customers. Like you go to a cafe, you like the coffee, you like the servers, you like the ambience. But if the cafe likes certain persons and doesn't like the others, how would that turn the table kind of feeling be? So a cafe likes the vibe of certain people. And I like this word, the vibe. I mean, with all due apology, neither of us is Gen Z.
There is no
you
Gen
are almost
Z
Gen Z. You're almost
Thank
Gen
you
Z.
for being kind.
So vibe is a word from the Gen Z. And I love the word. So the thoughts that you carry are you. And it's not how you look, it's not how we are, but it's what we are from within. So that vibe is what the cafe perceives. And the cafe likes certain persons and doesn't like certain other persons. So maybe a person who is carrying a bad vibe, angry vibe, actually gets some inconveniences in that cafe because something keeps happening that prevents that person from coming there again, because the cafe didn't like that person. So it's a
humorous.
It's
there's a lot of
philosophical humor, I would say.
Which works, right? We all need humor in this day and age.
It definitely works. There's one on book launches. I'm going to have my book launch tomorrow. And there's one on book launches that some people are there only to be seen by the author. And they don't really want to be there, but they just want to show that, hey, I was here. So then they have to go somewhere else. So it happens.
So as long as they buy their book, it's fine.
Sometimes they don't.
But they want to show we forgot something.
No, I'm on the stage. So they mark the presence. Okay, yeah, thanks for coming.
Oh. Okay.
But humor is very important in life. If I add a point here.
In writing, especially if you can talk about that.
Definitely. Because you're reading, even a serious point can be made with a little bit of light examples.
And then you do that with random forays, which is,
I do a lot of it. You've been reading them.
Yes.
And so that art of bringing in the subtle humor in a serious topic is something I pride myself in. But if it's a lighter topic, then anyway, it's very easy to bring in lots of anecdotes and jokes. And life gives you lots of anecdotes. Every experience gives you jokes and the way you look at things. I mean, we could make fun of anything, and it depends on your attitude. And you don't need to tell, my wife Nina often says, you shouldn't make fun of people. I think he doesn't know I'm laughing at him. As long as I'm not laughing at him. Someone used a bit of language which was not correct, let's say. And you made a light joke with your family on it. There's nothing impertinent in that. Because the person is blissfully unaware. So that's fine. You don't insult anyone. Humor writers take gentle jibes at society.
And do you use this in your public speaking as well? humor to
I have to.
get people to pay attention?
Saachi, I have 130 to 140 stories. I listed them one day.
And you remember all of them?
I don't remember all of them at one go, but when I'm delivering a speech, one of them will pop up in my memory because of the context. Something about an SHO Sahab, something about a guy who kept applying for a job, something about a relationship, Saif Ali Khan and Rani Mukherjee in Hum Tum on the flight, G.R.D. Tata and Dilip Kumar on the flight. So all these anecdotes come up, and some from my own life. So how you present them humorously as well as sometimes philosophy, learnings from them. Like there's a boy who lost his arm, and yet he became a judo champion because he knew one move, and the coach taught him that one move, and he was perfect at that one move. And because the other guy could not get out of that grip until he pinned down the other arm of the boy, which he didn't have. So it's a great learning that even a setback can become a plus point. So inspiration at times.
And I've learned a lot from you also when it comes to public speaking.
Oh yes, you've been doing well.
Thank you. So what do you think makes a public speaker memorable, from somebody stand out as a speaker rather than just being
I think it's a great question.
perceived as a confident person
I think
on
it's a
stage?
great question. I think it's about how you made people feel. You know that saying, it's not about what you said, but how you made them feel. So they felt something in your presence. Whether you said something, or they may not remember. They won't remember your points for sure. They'll remember your stories maybe, but they'll remember you for sure. You and me or anyone there. So that is the key. That is the key.
Just a few rapid fire questions now to
Yeah.
wrap up.
Yeah.
A mix of everything, actually.
Sure, go ahead.
What's the one career advice you would not give?
Not give, don't be money minded. Don't run after money.
At what age? Below
No,
30
to any
or-
age. The money should be priority number 3 or 4. Professional satisfaction, family. Money is required in adequacy, not in greed, and unbounded money is not required. So don't run after that.
Okay. And which is your favorite book, or what inspired you to become a writer?
I think autobiography of a yogi, I've talked about it. My meditation path is followed. I follow Paramahansa Yogananda. I also love Woodhouse. P.G. Woodhouse, I love. And when I read him a lot, then I...
Some people do think of your writing.
Yeah, some people do, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I do write inspired by him. Yeah, sure. Sometimes actually I read him before starting to write. And I read one page. It gives in fact, Agatha Christie's hero, Hercule Poirot, he would say those little grey cells start working. So my little grey cells of the literary type start working if I read a page of literature or something, interesting. I'm writing on something totally different, but your language skills suddenly emerge from that. Like we're having a very communicative conversation with flowing words. So if I write after this, I'll write pretty well, I think. And so will you.
Maybe this inspires the next random foray column.
Sure.
One habit that changed your life?
I think I stopped worrying too much about what people think. Habit in the sense I want to take it a little deeper. So I used to be very, conscious of people watching me, looking at me, don't do this, don't do that. And who's watching me now? And I was in service also, so it was a little difficult. Now I'm not worried. So I wouldn't say that I don't give a damn, but I'm almost there.
Good to learn. And if your life were a book, what would the title be?
No, I'm really not interested in having a book on my life, but if it would be there, I think hopefully it would be dynamic and positive energy would be part of it.
That would be the title.
No, it would be something.
We need a title.
Maybe Energy Unleashed or something like that.
Okay. That sounds very inspiring.
Yeah.
One last question. You've met all sorts of people in your life, bureaucrats, celebrities, this and that. What is that one quality which you think is uniform across all of them in a good way and perhaps in a bad way as well?
I think a very important point is the level of their consciousness, the level at which they think. So lowly thinking and pettiness is not a part of successful people I've seen. If they're very successful, they cannot be petty. And they rise above in circumstances where people think of only the narrow objectives and the narrow-mindedness. These guys are thinking aboveness, and they're looking beyond what people can see, and that's why they're so successful in a sport, in a company. J.R.D. Tata. I mean, look at Ratan Tata. Look at the people who
Very
succeed.
humble
Humble
also.
also.
I think
Humility,
that's a quality that
great quality. Humility is a great
don't.
quality. I totally agree. We can all be pompous. Even the Patwari is very pompous at times, but the chief secretary may not be. So I think it's important that we remain grounded.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant note to end on.
Absolutely. You brought out some portions of me which I had not anticipated that I'll be talking about them.
That was such a fun and engaging conversation.
Thank you
so much for this time, and see you soon
Thank you.
in person.
Great to be here.